I mean, hell, even with
He
the
does
3
that.
picks and all
He
these
does that.
lapses with the defense,
It was
just making
16
that
points.
field goal should
It's
win us the game.
the
Now, I don't know if our
But it's
offensive drive where Mitch scores the 7 to
Right.
Muth
You
plays out the same way, but
You catch
that's
it though,
literally
bro.
17-16
You
if
catch
that
it
field
though,
goal
bro.
goes in.
So it's like it wasn't, like I said, just one particular thing.
And
Also,
Boz looks right.
Yeah.
He was bombing some kicks.
yeah,
He was
absolutely.
booming.
And I don't want to even and this is the thing, right? When you talk about us this year, we say we got to be good in all three phases, right? We got to run the ball and not turn it over on offense. Defense, we got to stop the run and do what? Try to create a turnover. And then special teams, you have to win. You have to be competent. You cannot turn the ball over. You can't have a block punt, block field goal, any of that. We were bad in all three phases. We talked about offense, the turnovers, right? Not being able to run the ball. Talked about defensively, not being able to stop the run. And then on special teams, you give up a block field goal and you have a 17-yard punt. That's a recipe for disaster. And I know the people, and let's talk about it because I know this was the thing, man. I know everybody was so ready to just say, man, fire Pressley Harvin. He's the worst punter ever. And I love it. I love it because it just lets me know who understands this level of football and who doesn't. You watch the snap. We talk about it being a game of inches, right? How many times have we said the difference between NFL Open and College Open? We said College Open is this space, right? It's a wide margin, right? But at the NFL level, the defender is on this hip, the ball is on the front hip. We're talking the difference of what, maybe 6 inches, right? That difference is the difference between what? Elite versus terrible, right? Just 6 inches. Watch the snap. Pressley Harvin is sitting on the hash mark. The snap is what? 6 to 10 inches outside that hash mark. And why is it important? I'm speaking from experience. I've punted, I've snapped, I've played literally every position on punt team. Okay? That is that difference. Because now the timing is completely thrown off. Now he doesn't have his feet set the way they're supposed to. We talk about footwork, right? Why is that important? Well, when you're punting the ball, your steps matter because that's how you get your drop to be consistent. Why is your drop consistent? Because that's going to make sure that you're able to directionally punt this ball the way that it's supposed to be every single time. And the difference of your drop being right where it's supposed to be on the laces versus halfway inside versus halfway outside is the difference between it being a directional kick with great hang time like we've seen from him at times, and it being a 17-yarder. I looked at it and said, man, this is a great job by Pressley catching it first off and getting it off before it is blocked because now the block point is different. So everybody on the right side of that punt protection formation, their protection is screwed if Pressley does not get that ball out because this is what's happening. In the protection, it's not like offensive line where you're just blocking and you're like, hey, man, quarterback's mobile. We're good. No. In this, you're blocking a block point. You're saying, man, I got to hold my dude for 3 seconds, but I know this ball has got to be coming on this inside right here, not out here. So you don't even think to move if a guy's going over that way. So when you look at that 17-yard punt, granted, it's so easy to look and say, man, he put up that 17-yard. He's the worst punter in the league. Fire him. Crucify him. This is terrible. Nah, go back and watch the tape, and you will see exactly what I'm speaking of. And this how you even could tell that the two guys that were involved in it knew who messed up. As soon as the play is over, you watch the long snapper. He's coming over to Pressley with that, bro. I messed you up. I'm mortified. I'm so sorry. Pressley don't even want to dap him up all the way because he's like, bro, you killed me. And then he comes back and he gives him like the half dap, like, all right, bro, like we still here. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I know, because the difference is this. Nobody is hollering about that snapper. What did everybody holler about on social media? Everybody on the shows. Pressley. Man, he sucks. It's like, bro, understand what happened. Understand what he actually did. And that's the context. So, yeah. But once again, it doesn't matter because the result was still what? A bad punt and a short field. But that's the importance of execution and why everybody matters on that field. Not just the people that we can circle because it's easy to identify them and say that that's on them. Because it's not. It's literally a chain reaction when you're out there on that field, man. As we talked about it, a DN not having his head in the right gap changes how the safety plays it. A nose tackle not being consistently in his gap changes how the linebackers play it. It's just a domino effect. But that is that nuance that, was taking place yesterday and just perfect storm of why we kept having bad after bad after bad after bad at times.
I think that was his only bad punt too.
Mm-hmm. But once again, it's so easy to do what? Oh man, he's terrible. Fire him. God, I can't stand him out. He's terrible. It's just like, no, that's not what happened, man.
I think his first one of the year too. Like that. I mean, he's had a shank or two, but that was clearly the worst, but then all the things that you talked about, all right, wasn't even like really on him.
It was not.
And every other punt was, I think, solid. Now, one or two of them bounced into the end zone where you're hoping it sits down a little bit. Still, I'd take that over a 17-yarder. Yeah. Did he have a dot too? Did he have one that landed at the one, or am I missing?
No, that was last week.
There was some that had to do with. Oh no, I think it was the pick. It was the pick. Whenever they picked it,
Deontay, the one to the end zone. Towards Deontay.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, but like I said, man, Pressley, and this the other part. We have to understand too what we are asking our punters to do here in Pittsburgh versus other places. Other places, you might see a guy punt the ball 80 yards, 70 yards. Y'all might love it. As a person that has covered punts, we hate that. Because you're giving that return man the ball with at least 20 yards head start before any defender is close to him. And that is insane when you think about how great these athletes are returning these punts. You think about some of the success Steven Sims has returning punts, man. A lot of those punts, he has 10, 15 yards before anybody gets close to him. He gets that momentum going. We don't do that here in Pittsburgh. This has been under Danny Smith since he's come here. Our whole mentality is we're punting for hang time and we're trying to put that ball on the numbers, never in the middle of the field, on the numbers. That's why, because it's going to condense the field so you don't have to guard the whole width of it, and with that hang time it allows all of us to get down there. That's what we try to do here. It is very difficult though. That's why when you think of the different punters that we've had here and how they struggled, Brad Wink, he tried to do it here. It worked early on, but then it didn't. Talk about Jordan Berry. He had moments, but then it didn't. It is a very, very tough skill to master. Pressley Harvin, he shows it at times, but it is very, very tough. No different when we talk about elite passing, right? Hey, man, can you throw that ball when it's Tampa 2? Can you put that right in that little honey hole? Hey, man, if it's cover 3, can you beat that curl flat defender? Can you throw the deep out when you're on the opposite hash? That type of stuff. Well, it's the same at punter, man. We don't think about the context because it's not talked about like that, but it's the exact same thing, man, in terms of that type of detail and that type of high level of perfection in certain elements, man. Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped. You know, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. And more importantly, when we talk about that Lawnmower 4.0 and all of the other packages that they have to enhance your personal hygiene in your very personal private areas, this is what you're looking for, baby. Manscaped comes to the table with everything that you need. And that Lawnmower 4.0 is something that we all can attest to, man. Number one, love the fact that they have a light that you can turn on and off so that way you can see all the little itsy bitsy pieces that you need to be seeing, man. But more importantly, it does help reduce nicks and cuts, waterproof, all the good stuff that you like. And Deke, it comes in black, which is a dope color when you're in the shower. Just saying, man, because you can't lose it that way. So with that being said, man, you definitely got to rock up with Manscaped. But more importantly, you got to use that promo code. And that promo code is MOATS. You use that when you make your purchase at manscaped.com. You'll get 20% off along with free shipping worldwide. So stop wasting time. Tap in with the homies at Manscaped. And when I tell you your friends and the Dangly twins and their friends will be appreciative of it, I can assure you of that. So shout out to Manscaped.